Buying a car is supposed to be an exciting experience, but many of us feel like we're the ones being taken for a ride, especially women. Jill Merriam is the owner of Key Hyundai of Milford and Manchester and is here to bring back the fun in shopping for a vehicle. Welcome, Jill.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
When it comes to buying a car, do you see that most women are intimidated compared to men?
I don't think so. I think that's kind of in the days of the past. I think today most women are the primary financial keeper of their house. They do the budgeting, they pay all the bills, and when it comes time to buying a car, they're the ones doing the research and making most of the primary decisions.
So they're much more savvy these days.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They know what they want when they come in?
Most women do. I think that most women understand how a car needs to fit into their budget and have a better idea of what they need from the dealer when they come in.
Very good. Now, Key Hyundai is one of a few female-owned and operated dealerships in Connecticut.
Right, right. It's certainly a man's world and a man's business. So.
How challenging is that, though, for you?
Well, I came out of investment banking prior to doing this, so I was used to being in a pretty male-dominated industry. And I think that as long as you keep your own style and you're true to yourself, that gender difference kind of melts away. So I've just stayed true to my style and am honest and ethical, and I take that through in everything I do every day. So.
I understand you are third generation?
I am. My family has been in the car business in Connecticut actually since 1950. My grandfather, who's 92 years old, founded it in Wallingford, Connecticut 50 years ago.
Did you spend a lot of time in the dealership while you were growing up?
As a kid, I did. I think it was even in some of my dad's commercials, who was the second generation, and I spent some time in it, but I went away from it after I went to college and I decided to get into investment banking. So,
but you know more about cars than most women.
I do. I live it and breathe it every day. So.
And you have two kids. Are you going to expose them to the family biz?
Well, they're certainly aware of what I do every day, and they're always on the lookout for Hyundais on the road, but they're 5 and 6 years old, so I think at this point I'll let them figure their way in the world.
Now, you say there are 3 top buying tips. Let's go to
Sure.
the first one. First of all, you say understand your finances before you go into the dealership.
Right. I think that's the primary buying tip, because a car needs to fit into your family's budget. Aside from your house or your apartment if you rent, your car's probably going to be your next largest expense, and you need to know what you want to spend and what that monthly budget needs to be prior to coming into a dealership.
But a lot of people come in thinking, oh, I want a certain color, I want a certain style, so that shouldn't be the primary factor.
Well, that can be a secondary factor once you've decided what your budget is. So the first thing is to figure out what your budget is and to know where your credit is. And so you can go on a website like transunion.com or Experian.com and pay to buy your own credit bureau, which sounds silly, but it's not that much money and it's well worth the investment. And know where you stand. And you can even go to your local bank or credit union and get pre-approved for a loan prior to coming into a dealership.
And that's a very easy process?
It is a fairly easy process. And if you have some credit challenges, it may be a little more difficult. And then the dealer really is the best avenue for you for financing. Even if you do get pre-approved, the dealer may be able to offer you more advantageous financing, but at least you know where you stand. You have something in your hip pocket.
Absolutely. Now, the second tip you have is narrow down your vehicle choices through online research. Go to the dealer to test drive it.
Right. So there's so many resources today online, and I recommend that people use the most reputable ones like Edmunds.com or even ConsumerReports.org. All of Consumer Reports testing is done right here in Connecticut, and so you can go on one of these websites that are huge aggregators of information and start to narrow down your choices. You'll see a lot of lists on there, top 10 cars for women with children, top 10 safety picks. So if you can kind of narrow down what's important to you, and once you narrow down by type of car and style of car and budget, then I think you're prepared to go into the dealer.
And really quickly, the third one is know what you want to pay.
Right, right. So that's where people get nervous, right, in the negotiation process, because there's always that negotiation process in a dealership. And on Edmunds.com, they have something called true market value, which tells you what other people have paid on average for the car that you're interested in our market. And if you go in with that information in your hand and you know what you want to pay, it's a lot easier place to start the negotiation. And typically, if you came into us with that true market value figure, It would be fair to us and fair to you, and you would leave relatively quickly and satisfied with your new car.
And we want to talk about Hyundai Hope. What is that?
Right.
Hyundai Hope
has
on wheels.
Right, a charitable organization called Hyundai Hope on Wheels. It was founded about 10 years ago with the mission to support pediatric cancer research. Actually originally in Boston, and now it's spread to nationwide. And for every new Hyundai you buy, we donate money to pediatric cancer research. And just in Connecticut alone, in the last month, we've given a $40,000 grant to Connecticut Children's Medical Center and to Paul Newman's Hole in the Wall gang camps.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And if people have a car buying question, all you have to do is email us here at ConnecticutStyle@keycars.com. Right, Jill?
Right. Or visit our website at keycars.com.
Very good. There it is right there. Thank you very much, Jill, for coming in.
Thank you.